This yoke's come a long way in the last 2 weeks. Look at that overspeed feedback. There's now a host of new features, including an improved landing effect. This force feedback just gets better and better. Ouch, now that one's got to hurt. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Simhanger. My name's Mark. Thanks very much for joining me today. And in this relatively short video, I'm just going to give you an update on the CLS 60 Force Feedback Yoke from flightsim.com. There's more realism, more config options, and a whole lot more fun. If you're not up to speed, then check out my previous video, link in the notes below, to get hold of all those meaty details. In this video, I'll just be covering what's new. If you watch my previous video, you'll be aware that on startup it does a self-calibration and self-system check. But now, there's a little something different. In addition to checking the roll axis 90 degrees in each direction, right at the end of the calibration process, it does a little movement. It's just a little twitch, see it there? That's in preparation of something planned for the future related to the autopilot. As demonstrated previously, the yoke falls forward, imitating the weight of the elevators, which is a very cool feature. You can see the elevators dropping down. I mentioned in the video that this applied to the Cessna 172, which is not strictly correct, but the range of configuration options are such that we can change it no problem by adjusting the yoke full forward force. At default it's -30, I've changed it to -10. By reducing the number, I've lessened the weight of the elevators on the yoke. I can change things on the fly, we can apply those changes. Let me now pull the yoke back. The force is less, and now the elevators are staying more or less in the neutral position. And this is just one of a host of different parameters that can be adjusted. So whether you're flying an ultralight, a twin otter, your favorite jet, or something far heavier, parameters can be adjusted to suit. I'm not going to demonstrate all the different options and features, but they include such things as the aerodynamic force impact speed, and you can also adjust the yoke's neutral position. But of course you don't want to be changing these every 5 minutes while you're flying and swapping aircraft. So under the Effects tab, select Custom and you can have multiple profiles. I'm going to select Profile 1. I'm going to apply it. Successfully deployed. My Profile 1 has -20 as you can see. Select Apply here and it's now effective in Sim. We've now increased the yoke's full forward force. And once again, the elevators droop and the yoke moves forward. Another new feature now is the landing effect. You can decide to have that enabled or not. The effect is based on your vertical speed, so in the real world if you were to slam into the ground, well, you'd certainly feel that through the yoke. And the CLS 60 can now replicate that. Keep your eyes on the yoke on the inset. Come on girl, get down. Here we go. Bang! So you know when you're not buttering those landings, that's for sure. Let's now go ahead and try and replicate a slightly smoother landing. And if we get it right, well, we should feel very little through the yoke, except the engine vibration. And once again, that's a parameter that can be adjusted. This is a very welcome addition to the CLS 60. The amount of ground vibration you feel through the yoke again is dependent on a number of factors and whether or not you chose even or uneven ground. I found by and large choosing something in the middle between even and uneven seems to work best for me. There's also a new feature here which is for jets. It changes the vibration you feel through the yoke. It's considerably reduced and based on N1. For your stall you can opt to use your own customized settings and adjust a number of parameters accordingly to get something closer to realism. Haven't really done too much experimentation with these parameters so far, but there's a very cool feature to enable overspeed. I think it goes without saying, if you really want to enhance the effect of the Force Feedback Yoke, then VR is highly recommended. It's an amazing experience. Here I'm in the Piper Arrow 3, I'm pushing the nose down, deliberately getting into an overspeed. Look at that shake. You really do end up with your heart in your mouth. The realism we can experience in the sim these days, well, it's just amazing. If you're wondering, I'm still in two minds whether to put this on my DOF H3 motion simulator, but I have ordered an aluminium plate for support, just in case I decide to go ahead, but weight is a factor. So as shown earlier, we can save multiple different profiles for different effects to suit different aircraft. But should you wish, well, you can do a whole lot more. Let's head back to the General tab, and here again there are a number of important elements we can change, but not in terms of the effects that we experience, but in terms of the weight and force required to manipulate the yoke. And the good news is you can save them as separate profiles under the Config tab, and of course load them as needed. So you may have a Cessna 172 profile, Cessna 150, Twin Otter, and so on. Turning now to the trim function, and still under development is the option to disable hardware trim on the ground. Focused on realism, this will prevent the elevators moving as you adjust your trim while stationary and at 0 knots. And if we pop back to the Configure tab, there's one setting that's fairly important, that's worth knowing about, and it's this setting here, the HW default speed, which is set at a default of 4. This affects your trim sensitivity. Increase the number, it becomes more sensitive, reduce it and it becomes less sensitive. The trim on this yoke is excellent, by the way. Well, that's basically the news for now. Those are all the updates, and as and when more come out, I'll certainly keep you abreast. But there's no doubt that the CLS 60 from flightsim.com can only get better and better. And whilst it's priced at US $799, in terms of function and features, well, there's no competitors in the market. Brunner is very close to 50% to 100% more expensive, and I personally find it very realistic indeed. If you'd like to find out more, I'll leave a link to flightsim.com's website in the notes below the video. There you can have a look at all the various technical specifications, as well as other products planned for the future. And from what I understand from the developer, the first 50 units sold out almost immediately. Design and development are complete, and I believe they're going to look at a Kickstarter to help raise finance to fund initial production. And I know they did open some pre-orders, but I'm not sure if that's still available. But to stay up to date with flightsim.com, I recommend that you sign up to their newsletter. There you'll get updates as well as details on the future plans regarding the Kickstarter campaign. The developers are based in Singapore and will be exhibiting at FS Expo in Las Vegas in June this year. And if you're going, don't forget to say hello, because I'll be there. Thanks for joining me today. Stay well, look after yourselves. I'll see you again soon, and ciao for now.